Welcome back. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the summary of this article. So basically what's happening is over in the Horn of Africa, there's a lot of people at risk. This story is not so much in the news these days, but basically some very unfortunate events such as weather patterns, lack of rain, lack of food aid and donations. These things have really kind of snowballed into an effect that could potentially cost millions of people their lives.
So do you happen to know which countries are in the Horn of Africa?
Yeah, I think one of the more famous ones is, of course, Somalia. There's been a couple movies about that one. There's Djibouti. There's Ethiopia. And of course, the last one is Eritrea. Or Eritrea. How do you pronounce that?
I think Eritrea is okay.
Eritrea, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's those countries.
I don't know if Ethiopia is actually included, but it is contested in a lot of ways.
Okay. It's part of the issue that we're talking about.
I believe so, yes. Why do you think that the Horn of Africa is so plagued by so many problems?
Well, I'm not an African historian by any means, but I do know that some of those countries were former, actually great empires in the past. Ethiopia, Somalia, they were part of a pretty strong empire. And when Europe came in, I know they were particularly brutal because they were able to resist the Europeans pretty well in those areas. And I think just the brutal tactics just kind of wiped them out for decades and decades, generations, and they've had a hard time getting back on their feet and finding some stability. Yeah. That would be my theory.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would say probably in more, I'm going to accept that as the theory in the past. I would say maybe more modern times. You had a lot of Cold War situations where, like Egypt and I think it was England, maybe a little bit of France were fighting over in that region. You had a lot of power struggles, the most recent war on terror in the early 2000s. So I think that area has always had and continual problems and issues that continue to plague it.
Yeah, it's not just a one and done thing.
Yeah. It's a very important area. That means everybody wants it.
Yeah, in history, that was a very important trade area for a long time. You had Asia and Middle East would meet there. It was rich and powerful and sought after by Europeans. And
everybody wanted a piece of that pie. Do you think that the UN is going to be able to kind of help out the Horn of Africa? Are they going to be able to get those humanitarian aids all to the countries that need them? Where are they going to get that money?
Yeah, I don't know. The UN, I feel like in general, they manage things, but it's all about speed, I think. The UN is a large government organization. Speed is not always their best attribute. So I don't know if that's going to be the main issue. I think they will help in some regards. Is it going to be enough? Maybe that's what we should be asking.
Yeah. So, any help people can give would be much appreciated, but I think you're right. The bureaucracy of the UN, and also the fact that governments might want to block aid for different reasons to that country, or to those countries, could affect things like that a lot.
Yeah.
Now, where do they get the money? I guess you and me, but yeah, we're too busy donating to Ukraine.
Yeah. But actually, Ukraine is a big provider of grain in the world, so that is not helping this situation.
Absolutely.
So, maybe UN will be less successful because of that.
Yeah, their hands just might be tied at this point. It's not about money, it's about releasing resources, and they're all kept or at least being blocked by different effects around the world. That's all the time we have for talking about this issue that's going on. Let's take a look at those vocabulary words though, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.
Bombard.
Bombard.
Verge.
Verge.
Acute.
Acute.
Fathom.
Fathom.
destitute,
destitute,